I've been thinking a lot lately about friendships and in particular gay friendships. And I've realized that gay friendships have become very important for me in recent years. All friendships important, but there's something really particular about the importance of gay friendships. So I started looking back at various phases of my life and thinking about the different types of friends I had and how that's impacted who I am today, and just the things that I went through with my friends growing up, after school, in my early 20s and now. So when I was thinking about the friends that I had growing up, I realized, like many gay men, I gravitated a lot more towards girls. And naturally I would become very friendly with girls, and I found it a lot easier to hang out with girls growing up. I had that anxiety in the playground when boys and girls had to be separated, and most of my friends were girls. Luckily, though, I did have some really great straight best mates as well. 2 or 3, I guess, growing up that I would consider to be really, really, really best mates. One in particular. And I'm lucky to have had those guys, those straight men, they're straight men now, but they were straight kids at the time. I'm lucky to have had them in my lives. But even still, they were friends with other straight boys, and there were groups of guys that I was on the periphery of, but never really felt connected to. I always felt like an outsider. When I was at school, no one was really out of the closet. Absolutely no one, actually, but turns out quite a few guys came out after school, as it happens. So I didn't really have any gay friends whatsoever growing up. And then I left school and went to university, and in my early 20s, in my late teens and early 20s, I met some really amazing gay guys. Again, a small handful of people that I was close with, but really lovely gay boys. But even then, I wasn't really part of a big group of gay guys. I really also prided myself on the fact that I had a lot of straight friends, that I hung out at straight places, that I wasn't really part of this gay community. And I think in retrospect, I approached it with a sort of snobbery that I was somewhat better because I wasn't part of the gay community. But honestly, I think it was a protective mechanism. I didn't connect to many people in the gay community. I couldn't find my niche. I couldn't find guys that I felt had the same values. I didn't really feel comfortable at the gay clubs in Sydney. I felt that guys were quite cliquey. And so I was really very much about, most of my friends are straight. I hang out in straight places. I don't need those gay guys. I don't need to hang out at gay parties. Rah, rah, rah. But secretly deep down sort of resenting that I wasn't a part of it. And then that continued until I moved to London and was forced to make new friends because I was living in a new city, and fell into an amazingly wonderful supportive group of like-minded gay boys that have become really close friends of mine. What I have noticed as I've gotten a bit older is that those gay relationships, those gay friendships become so much more important as you age. I think back to all the straight friends that I had in my late teens, my early 20s, and most of them are married with kids now, and they are going through a completely different stage of their lives. They're onto their second, some even their third kids, and my life is very, very different. I'm single, I live in London, I have no real responsibility other than looking after myself and going to work every day. So I'm in a very different place. And if I had been only surrounded by these straight people, I think I would have ended up being a little bit lost, just because of the nature of things, just because what I am into and what they are doing right now is completely different. I think the other important thing about gay friendships, other than having shared experience and having a group around you that has or are in a similar stage of life that you are, is that you have people who can relate to what you're going through. Recently, I was with a friend and we were doing STI checkups together. And it's a really terrifying thing, I guess, for quite a few guys when you think that you might have been exposed to something, and there's a bit of anxiety around testing, even though it's so essential that we do it. So having friends that are going through a similar thing and being able to lean on them, talk about your fears, talk about your sexual experiences, even laugh and watch the same shows and see each other eye to eye because you come from a similar place and because you're going through similar things is just so important as you grow up. The other thing is, when you are a kid, like I said, if you were a kid like me and didn't have any gay people in your life, then you sort of have to forge your own path and you sort of have to make your own way through and learn everything without having someone to talk to about it, without having parents that you might be able to discuss these things with. So having gay friends, particularly when you're growing up, is quite essential to helping you find yourself as a person. Now, I'm not saying that there's more value in having gay friends or that gay friends are different to your straight friends. What I am saying is that there is a realization at some point in your life that you come to when you see your friendship groups diverging into different places and you wonder where your place is. So thank you to all those boys who have been my mates along the way, straight, gay, to all those girls that have been supportive of me. I really appreciate all your love and your friendship. A message to those guys that might feel like they don't have any gay friends. I feel like I only found my soul group later on in life. So if you haven't found yours yet, they're definitely still out there. It just might mean that you take a little longer to find them. It might also mean that you find one or two. I think the other thing on social media is we see these big groups of gay guys, these huge gatherings of 20, 30 guys that seem to socialize and move together in the same networks and go on fabulous holidays and seem to know everyone in the world, and it feels like everyone's super connected to each other. But it's not necessarily the case, and those friendships might be very loose, those connections might be very loose. So don't be intimidated by that. Don't think that that is what it means to have gay friends. It could be that you have one or two. It could be that you have none in real life, but you have a couple online that you chat to and you feel comfortable having conversations with. It might be that you've never met them. It might be that you share secrets digitally. That doesn't make the friendship any less important. So I hope everyone finds their group, whether that be a big group, a small group, an online group, an offline group. And just remember that if you feel that you don't need to have gay friends or that you're better than that gay community, just think about your future. Think about where your life might be going. Thinking about how in a few years' time your straight friends' lives may change and how you might need that support network as you change too.